The video that had the biggest impact on my thinking was the video about the alchemy and creative value creation. That one kind of stood out to me because it kind of changed how I think about the value in marketing. Before I kind of thought it came from like improving the product itself, like better features or performance, but the video kind of showed like value comes from more like perception and psychology, not just like the product.
Yeah, for me, I think the video that had the greatest impact was the behavioral foundation ones. It was very interesting to get those perspectives that would go against what is generally considered to be common sense for businesses, because get so locked into what works, we are afraid to take risks. And when those risks are successful, they pan out so much better than doing what everyone else is doing.
hmm Um, an idea that really stuck with me was that people don't always make rational decisions. That kind of challenges traditional marketing frameworks like segmentation and analytics because those like heavily rely on like the data and logic. The data obviously is useful, but it mainly shows that like what people did in like the past is not necessarily what will influence them in the future. It also doesn't fully capture emotions, which are definitely a big part in decision making.
Huge parts. Let's see here. I guess one thing that especially the whole video I feel like for me was about those challenges too thinking, but I think one that especially like stood out for me was the time of quality, not quantity, especially with the example that he gave. It seems so counterintuitive that when you're on a train, you would want to get to somewhere faster, and that's why you would choose it over a plane. But in actuality, what they did is they spent thousands, if not millions of dollars to improve the train, and it actually got slower instead of faster, and yet people chose the train over just flying to the destination because of the quality that was provided on the and amenities on the train.
Mhm. Um, I think the ideas also challenge like how we think about ROI. A lot of the marketing values come from things that are hard to measure, like brand perception, trust, or how memorable something is. They don't always show up immediately in numbers, but they still impact like the long-term success. For in my future career, especially, I want to get in more into like the social media side and content creation. I want to apply this by focusing more on how content makes people feel, not just how it performs or looks, instead of only following trends or data. I think like kind of creating something that stands out and creates a different perception of the brand. Um, Overall, it definitely these videos change how I think about marketing. That it's not just like logical, like data numbers. It's about like understanding like people, how they think and how they act in different situations.
Although not explicitly stated in the video, and something I discovered through my own research about surrounding the project, I feel like applying the insight of taking calculated risks, I think, is something that is absolutely applicable to future career paths. It is one thing to completely jump in headfirst to a risky and creative strategy, but it's another thing whatsoever to do that without a safety net. I think what I got is from that external research is you need to make sure you have that safety net, but after that, after you have that core business model, you can start getting crazy and experimenting with new markets.
Mhm.